Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this lovely H-Day Goes Live this morning, where I'm joined by two very lovely individuals. I have Stewart Roberts from Haircuts4Homeless and the wonderful Jayne joining me this morning to talk about something that they're doing. Welcome to you both.
Hello, good morning.
Hey, Jayne, thank you for getting us along. Really appreciate that.
Oh, absolute pleasure. So we're going to talk about Haircuts4Homeless. Obviously, we've all been together this weekend at Salon International, which we were delighted we managed to get together. But then absolutely heartbroken. I know I got a call literally as I was leaving the venue on Monday night to talk about the really sad loss of the very lovely and very talented Chris Williams, who was Rush's colour artistic director.
Yeah, just devastating, absolutely devastating, Jayne. I've known Chris for, I think, about 13, 14 years. I mean, we all did. And what a lovely man, and very talented, and just so much love to his family and wife and daughter.
Absolutely. I think we just want to say to Chris, on behalf of all of us, don't we, to Chris's family, his extended family at Rush, sending all our love, thoughts and prayers to you all. You know, such sad news. I mean, it's just awful when somebody so young is taken like that. It's awful. So, which, I mean, it's just the worst news. But actually, Stewart, what you've been doing for a number of years now is helping people who are having a tough time of it in their own way, and actually making a huge change and a huge impact. So let's talk a little bit, because I think most people know you and know Haircuts4Homeless. They certainly know Jack. But let's talk to people about why you started it and what we're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, I do a short intro to it because I want to talk about the book, but if you don't know, you know.
If you don't know, why don't you know?
Yeah, you've been asleep. No, if you don't know, I started 7 years ago, and like a lot of things, it started by accident. I didn't mean it to be a thing. I happened to be volunteering at the local Salvation Army because I'm 15 years sober at the moment, so I was about 8 years in, and I was just going on a Monday to volunteer with the guys and just having chats about addictions and things, like that stuff. But I saw Mark Bustos in America doing these street makeovers, and it blew me away. There was a particular one that always stays in my mind. There was this guy, like really dishevelled guy, and he cut his hair. It's sort of a nice tidy cut, slick back, but he looked like Steve McQueen, this guy. And I never the image, I can see it now. And I thought next week I'll go along, take my scissors and do a couple of haircuts. Changed my life. Literally changed my life. That one Monday morning, like I was a long-term hairdresser. Even at that point, I was, I'd had a salon for, at that point, 25 years, and I've been doing it 10 years previously. I was a bit punch drunk of hairdressing. Salon owners will relate to this.
Yeah.
I'd become an unpaid tax collector. I was just doing forms and meetings, and I sort of like got a bit battered. And all of a sudden, I'd done someone's hair. They came in and having the worst time, and then they felt so much better after I'd finished. And it was like pure hairdressing. It's what I went back to it for. And pretty quickly, a few friends joined in, a few other places wanted us to come. Before I knew it, I could see it could be replicated because it was a safe environment that we were in other places like that. Captive audience, so it was replicable. And then before I knew it, we had quite a few going, and then we was on the National Lottery TV advert that then catapulted us. Once we were on TV a lot, we then got asked to go everywhere. And then it became a thing.
And hairdressers are such giving and compassionate. They're empathetic, aren't they? And also fantastic communicators, which I would imagine for the people that you're dealing with and talking to on a daily basis, they need someone who's just going to show them that bit of compassion and care and love and take the time to listen to them and their story.
You couldn't get a better industry for doing what we do, because alongside the beauty industry as well, like the fact that we touch, that we're empaths, probably too much so a lot of the time. We take too much on of our clients' troubles. So we don't always care for our own mental health, which we can talk about at some point. But, it's one of those things you couldn't ask for a better industry because we're great listeners. You see people, I see people come for the first time and they're really they're really worried about what it might be. You know, they've never done it before. They spend the night before thinking about how it might be.
Yeah.
The first haircut, you see them like just go into it. They go into their own, and they're talking to someone, and you know, and we get trust really quickly. We have to do that. I still believe one of the most important things in a salon is the consultation. You
Absolutely.
know, and you know, we're great at it. We sit down, we gain trust really quickly, and that's what we have to do in these environments.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about the book, because obviously Jack's here. So how did you two kind of meet and start thinking about this? What happened?
Yeah, good question. I mean, I was seeing Haircuts4Homeless come up on my social media streams all the time, and Stewart and what he was doing and his team. So I actually got in touch with a session stylist called Lee Keats.
Yeah.
Fantastic guy, and then that sort of indirectly and directly linked me to Stewart. I went along to my first session at Whitechapel Mission, which is in Whitechapel, Hackney, really frontline session, and I just fell in love with what they were doing. And like with Stewart and yourself, Jayne, have touched upon already, seeing that tenderness, that care, and seeing there were people falling asleep while having their hair cut, because first time for we don't know how long, being secure and cared for, and then I just went to more sessions, started documenting what was happening and the befores and afters, and just that level of transformation, and the necessity. I mean, although we're all in the hair and beauty industry, and we fully understand this, I think everyone understands the power of a haircut. And it's huge. On that very first session, there was a guy, he hadn't had access to his son for 6 years, and he was going down to Brighton to be interviewed by social services. The last part of his trying to get back to see his son, and he was there chatting to one of Stewart's volunteers about what he wanted. Again, the consultation and the understanding and that intimacy. And I was just our boy's 3.5 years old, and I just thought, do you know what, if I hadn't seen Freddie for that amount of time, so can't imagine. So it became really important to document this and put something back into the charity, back into the guests as well, and helping encourage the volunteers. And I think from my point of view as well, Jayne, I've always, I love what I do. I love taking pictures, but I wanted to put something back in. I got into a stage in my life where we're all very privileged working in the hair and beauty industry. We have good careers, and I got to a point where I had to put something back in, and this felt like a really lovely fit of working with form, shape, faces, stories, but then putting something back in. And that's been the last 2 years, really, Stewart, isn't it? We've been everywhere, all over the United Kingdom.
I can't get rid of him.
I do it more than I do my girlfriend.
Not that you want to get rid of him, Stewart, obviously. I mean,
some days.
But to that point, I'm sure. But to that point, we all take it for granted. But actually, to have somebody place their hands on you and really care for you, for some of these people, that will have been the first time in a long time, I would imagine, that they've had that kind of interaction. Because it's and for me, the only positive that came out of the pandemic was actually that all of a sudden the national media caught up with what we all know already, and that is hairdressing is not just about how it makes you look, it's about how it makes you feel. We all know if you're having a bad hair day, it's not going to be a good day. So and I don't mean that at all in a frivolous way. It is so important to how you feel about yourself and your self-esteem, and these people you're interacting with need all that support and love to get them back to where they were or where they want to be.
I think the thing, I mean, our tagline is it's more than just a haircut. And it's like humans are strange creatures, because you don't really appreciate anything until something's taken off of us. We're like children. Absolutely right. And that's what happened with the public. They all of a sudden they couldn't get their hair done. They couldn't get that they realised what they were missing. And then so they had a glimpse of what it's like to be homeless, to not have that touch, not have the interaction, and it's something that very early on I realised the power of it, and as Jack said, when you've got someone who thanks you for talking to them. You think like, you don't, where have we come? You know, and the thing I heard time and time again, we feel invisible, you know?
Yeah.
And when I started the podcast, I mean, there wasn't a lot of thought went into Haircuts for Homeless, because as you can, you know, it's pretty much, didn't take me a long time to think that one up. But when I started, when I started, and I'd done the number 4, it's caused me no end of deep like grief, because everyone calls it FOR and they can't find it. But when I'd done the podcast, I was like, I thought about it, and because of those things, I wanted to, so people realise that they want someone to hear me and to see me, and that's where it came from. And then we was in talks about the book, and it was going to be the Haircuts from this book, and then someone said, you know, Lucy said, bless her, why don't you call it Hear Me See Me Book, because, you know, that's it's such a great line, and that's why, you know, we've gone with that as a title.
So talk to us about the book, and why a book, and why you're crowdfunding, because, you know, people will be saying, but you're getting all this publicity, you know, you're getting visibility. What, because actually charities are having and have had a very tough time in the pandemic.
Yeah, I mean, I'll let Jack talk about it, but I'll quickly say the need for it from my end is that we're all struggling a bit. Us small charities, you know, even the big ones are struggling. So, but the big ones have the reserves, but ones like us don't have reserves. We have a small reserve that we, you know, we're at a stage even now where if nothing else came in, we've got about 5 months left, which is very nerve-wracking. I mean, I'm an ultimate optimist, even though I look miserable most of the time, but I'm an ultimate optimist, and I'm like, I know it's coming. So I always know the great thing is I always know it's coming, because I know that I will make it come somehow. But there is always that back of your mind thing, oh, we've got so many months left. And that's why it's crucial to do any sort of initiative to bring some money in. And the generosity of people like Jack, Lee Keats, even it's not a publisher, it's the printer who's going to print books, is doing it more or less at cost, you know, is doing so many parts of it for free. That the whole profit is going to Haircuts for Homeless. So we're anticipating that the book sells out, the whole 1,000 copies go. There's one in every salon reception, you know. There's going to be a reprint 3 or 4 times, because there's a lot of salons and barbershops out there, and it needs to be on every reception.
And we mentioned that. So there are many ways people can get involved to help, but with the book, you're currently crowdfunding, because you're crowdfunding to get the money to actually make the book happen. I'm right, am I not?
Yes.
So how can people get involved?
Jack?
Well, I mean, first of all, you know, a little thank you for the weekend on that as well, Jayne. You know, Salon International gave us a really good platform to speak at different sessions, and we're very grateful. And right now, I think, leading on from what Stewart was saying as well, the charity's got a runway of about 4 or 5 months, and that's why we've ramped up the book to come to you know, evolve. And we've launched this crowdfunder. It's just over a week. We're 2/3 of the way there, but we really need people's help to go onto the crowdfunder. One of us can, you know, post the link. It's all over social media. Either donate, even if it's a pound or 20 quid, whatever it is, or ideally buy a book. That's what we're asking for, Jayne, so that we can buy a book. Because we went, like Stewart touched on earlier, we went to the printers the other day and we got
we've got the running sheets. They're amazing.
And, you know, we talked about the befores and afters. This is actually a woman up in Sheffield. She was attacked 2 months before this. She was a busker with a group of kids and a scaffold pole, and they broke her fingers and her instruments. And then this is, you know, Men's Outreach Prison in Peterborough. You know, Stewart and one of the helpers at Whitechapel. So, you know, this is a first pass, and this book is a coffee table book. It's a premium art book, and all the proceeds will go back into the charity. So we have to reach £20,000 to get this book printed. So we're at a critical point, because as soon as we get this book printed, we've then got 1,000 copies. and then every single bit, comes back in, doesn't it, Stuart?
Yeah.
So what's the link? Have you got the link? What can people search for the link? Because we can pop it in the chat. So if they search Haircuts for Homeless crowdfunding, will that come up? Or actually, if one of you guys gives us the link, we'll make sure we post it in the chat so that people can see it. That would be fab.
If they do pop on my Instagram, not mine, our Instagram, Haircuts for Homeless, it's in the link tree, in the bio.
Fab.
So,
Okay.
Jen, I've just posted in the chat, so maybe Meg can help us. I've just put it in the chat link.
That's fabulous. Thank you very much. We will make sure that happens. That would be brilliant. She shared it already, so it's on Facebook and we're ready to go. There you go.
Look at
Speed and
Meg.
efficiency. Go, Meg. Meg is hiding in the background, making all this happen. You see, she's making it look seamless. So she's done that.
Brilliant.
So, okay. And then obviously, I mean, and you're right, because I've seen some of the running sheets and the book is absolutely beautiful because it's beautiful, but it's heartwarming because it tells a different story. We're very used to seeing very beautiful images that you particularly shoot, Jack, which are beautiful collections, which are absolutely stunning. But actually, these have got real life stories behind them, which has probably been quite a different journey for you to shoot.
I mean, I'm glad you brought that up personally, because it's been fascinating for me, Jane.
I bet it has.
Because it's about the faces, and of course it's about the hair, but it's what's happening with the eyes.
Of course.
And I shoot the whole thing for different parts of the book. We shoot the feet, the hands, the textures on the skin, the back of the head, and it's fascinating going around different parts of the United Kingdom and seeing levels of, different levels of poverty. There's a lot of addiction in some of the sessions. There's a lot of mental illness. So, to be able to capture that, and the guests, they sign everything off at the start. Stuart's sister, she talks to them. And so it's all, absolutely.
Yeah, they're all happy. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. And everyone's, who wants to be involved can be involved. So to, capture those stories, it's given me a whole, I love it. It's making me feel so, I'm getting a lot of creative input as well as sort of feeling that, I really want to help Stuart out.
And we talked briefly, very quickly before we came on the session, but barbering is an area, Stuart, that probably for you is a little bit behind. You've got a lot of traction in the hairdressing industry, in the salon industry, and getting barbers on board to help with the sessions. I mean, and more hairdressers, obviously, because I'm sure as many hairdressers or barbers who volunteer, you can find places for them to work and actually deliver the haircuts.
Yeah, I mean, we've got team leaders all across the UK, but they're crying out for volunteers because for different reasons, some of our long-term volunteers have not come back after the pandemic. And I feel that, I understand that everyone's circumstances have changed so much. Mm-hmm. So we're grateful for everything they've done, but we need new blood, to keep these things going. Particularly like Jackie messaged me even yesterday from Manchester. She runs so many up there, but she needs helping lots. She's got, loads all around Manchester suburbs. She needs Sheffield, she needs Liverpool, so there's all these places. So if you're anywhere there, but barbering particularly, because even though there's a lot of stuff we don't show that we do, it's a lot of women's refuges, so we need hairdressers. But sort of, I would say 80%, even on some sessions, 90% of our clients are men. And it is barbering, so barbers are a great asset to us,
What do they have to do to be involved, Stuart? What's the process?
We really like people, they can get in touch in any way, obviously, but we try and direct them to the email, because my sister then Belinda has to go for everything and coordinate. So we try and funnel everything to email, which is info@haircuts4homeless.com.
Okay.
Now, when they get to that, then Belinda L'Oreal have been a great sponsor of ours, and they help us make some videos. So it's really simple now. You say, "I don't want to be a volunteer." You get an email sent with a video, tells you how.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, team leader. We've got one of those. We've got even a video for centres.
Okay.
What we expect of them in return for what we're giving as well.
And what kind of commitment are you looking for? Is it as much as people can give or as little as people can give? So if they can do a session a month, that's fine. Or are you looking for more regular commitment?
This is the thing. Like, a lot of charities have burnout on their volunteers.
Yeah.
And I understand that. I mean, the amount of older ladies whose hair I've done over the years, who start volunteering in some of these charity shops and doing a day a week, and in the end they're running it, opening and locking for nothing.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
We only asked 2 hours every 6 weeks. That's our minimum.
Wow.
We ask stick to that. We do ask stick to that, but that's 2 hours. That adds up roughly about 16 hours a year. And I do say politely, if you ain't got 16 hours a year to give someone else, you want to question you
might need to look at your balance.
Look at your balance in your life, because trust me, you're missing out. Is the thing. Is that every time you do this, it re-energizes or recharges your soul. Like, think of it as a battery and it's running out. You'll get so much more out of it than you'll give on feedback and just feel good factor. More if you can do it, but not too much.
Okay. So info@haircuts4homeless.com, and it's right behind your head as well, which is perfect. So it's the number 4 for people to couldn't have placed that better, might I say. Branding, it's all about the branding. So info@haircuts4homeless.com to come to volunteer. And then we've popped the crowdfunder for the book. Can they order the book on that crowdfunder, or is that?
Yes,
they can. So you can either.
So it's obviously don't exist yet, but it's a pre-order.
Yeah, that's fine.
And we're really desperately going to work so hard to get it out and delivered before Christmas.
Brilliant. So anything else you want to share with people? So to get in touch, they can follow. So actually, give us your Instagram handles and so for the charity.
So it's I'm Haircuts4Homeless.
Right.
Number 4. Stick the number 4 in, and you'll find us.
Okay. On Facebook and Instagram, or is Instagram better?
We're Facebook, Instagram, Twitter.
Fabulous.
I get told off I'm not on Twitter enough, but we are on Twitter. But the great thing is, a lot of my team leaders are more active on Twitter, so I end up just retweeting what my team leaders putting on Twitter. So
fab.
We're a big army.
But no, well, that's great. Well, we need to make the army bigger and stronger, right? So that we can help more people.
Generals and captains.
Absolutely. Jack, anything else you want to share?
I think it's been covered, really. Just that the link is in the Haircuts for Homeless bio, and just get involved in the crowdfunding, because the United Kingdom, we do have a massive issue with homelessness, and that's what all this is about. We can't solve the problem of homelessness, but through Haircuts for Homeless, we're contributing to better lives, and that needs to continue. And
I have to say, was it Lucy Seffens that came up with Hear Me, See Me? Yeah, I mean, it's just an absolutely perfect title for this. Absolutely, salute to Lucy. When do you think, have you any idea when you think we'll be able to get the book out so people can get excited about it?
We're aiming for early December, because
so it will be this year.
Yeah. It needs because the printer has given it. Yeah, he's given us a 4 week. So from when we press the green button, it's then 4 weeks from beginning to end. So it's very exciting, because Christmas presents and people.
Absolutely.
Can I just quickly add in about Lee Keats, because Lee he brings another element to this. Is that, I mean, Jack will testify, when I'm in it. So I'm like full blown. I'm like a bit of a tornado going on with all the work, and I hear everything, but it doesn't sometimes stay in there.
There's a lot going on.
It's in the back, and he just takes down, and he's a great one with words, Lee, and he just picks out little sentences. And Lee's has already stored so many great little things that are going to go alongside. They're not big stories, but one sentence can encompass a whole story.
Absolutely.
Lee's been travelling around the United Kingdom with us. He's a co-author, so having those little sentences has been crucial.
It brings it alive, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It really, but big thanks to him. Huge thanks to both of you. I mean, the work you've been doing, Stuart, and now you, Jack, too, is just fantastic. And I have spoken to volunteers of yours who've said, I was really nervous about going along, and they get quite anxious almost about it, because I think they're not quite sure what to accept. But it's absolutely what you say. When they've done it, the overwhelming feeling is just that they feel just re-energized about life. And also, I think it makes you realise just how lucky you are yourself.
Exactly.
So let's not forget, we are all very lucky. People are having a tough time. So, and it's just, you're not asking for much. Just if people can help just in a little way to put something back, then you know, we will get the book flying and the onwards and upwards for Haircuts for Homeless.
Yeah, thank you.
So no, absolute pleasure. And if you need us for anything, you know where we are.
Very kind, and thank you for having us on today. It's been brilliant.
It's an absolute pleasure. I feel like this is the most sensible conversation I've had since the weekend, really. Yesterday wouldn't have been so good. Couldn't actually string a sentence together. So hopefully this morning's been much more coherent.
Brilliant.
Thank you so much to you both. And I'll see you very soon.
Thank you.
Take care.
Cheers, Jayne.
Bye.
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 Thank you.